Welcome to the Travelex Weekly Outlook. This one is for November 21st. The dollar started the week with a rally, moved to its highest level in 6 weeks against a broad basket of currencies. This is coming as financial markets around the world have really sold off on concerns about debt on both sides of the Atlantic. So that has fueled a rush into safer currencies. We have, of course, concerns raging once again about what's going on in Europe with their high debt loads. We've seen government borrowing costs in nations like Italy, Greece, and even Spain and France move toward elevated levels. So again, that has investors on the alert for the possibility of a spreading debt crisis over there. Then on closer to U.S. shores, we have investors fretting about the looming deadline for the super committee to hopefully come up with a plan to slash about or more than $1 trillion from the U.S. debt load over the coming decade. So really, all that super committee has done is fueled a super sell-off in global stocks. They're down more than 2% at last check. So again, that tends to fuel steady demand for the U.S. currency. But last week, we did see the dollar mostly keep its head above water. And this was, again, on concerns about high debt loads in Europe. That kept investors worried about the outlook for growth in Europe. It also, that does pose a danger to the global economy as well. So as a result, that worked in the dollar's favor last week. But we have seen the dollar give back some of its gains. Of course, there are some dollar negative themes that are lurking close to the surface. One has been the prospect that the stalled debt talks in Washington, that can keep the prospect of a U.S. Credit rating downgrade on the table. And of course, that tends to undermine sentiment toward the dollar. And then even though we've seen a steady run of positive U.S. data recently, I think most Fed officials have sounded dovish on the outlook for policy. That's because even the nation's unemployment rate is only seen falling slowly in the coming year. So again, that can keep the prospect of more monetary easing on the table as well. So that tends to undermine sentiment towards the dollar. But for the coming week, before investors break for the Thanksgiving holiday, they're going to get a broad snapshot on the economy. This week, we're going to get some key housing numbers, as well as a revision to third quarter growth. And then lastly, we'll get a look at some numbers on the consumer. That is the main driver of the U.S. economy. We have numbers on personal spending and income. But that's going to do it. We do have the dollar off to a good start for the week of November 21st.